And with that court order, they insert themselves. This volunteer goes and inserts him or herself into this child's life, school, their foster home, maybe their daycare, their summer camp, their band practice, anywhere and everywhere that child goes, this CASA volunteer goes also and has access to this child everywhere. And it's designed to make the volunteer a subject matter expert on these kids. Nobody else standing in front of that judge has that level of knowledge on this child's life. And so when we say that the volunteer advocate is the eyes and ears of the court, I would come see for yourself. Any citizen can watch Child Protective Services cases in Collin County. Go. I'd encourage you to go. You will see live advocates up there changing the story for these children. Judges are very much influenced by what we have to recommend.
Welcome to today's Heart of the Hustle. This is our special series where we are focusing on nonprofits here in the North Texas area. And I am here today with Natasha from CASA Collin County. So excited to have you here.
Hello, it's so great to be here.
Tell us about CASA.
CASA is an acronym. It stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates. We serve children in foster care, essentially, by helping judges decide what is the best way to go for this child's future. This nonprofit is volunteer-based and volunteer-driven, even though we have a staff of 19 here in Collin County, and we have a cute office in downtown McKinney. It's got the child-friendly murals on the outside. People are always taking pictures by it. Downtown McKinney. But we speak up for children in foster care. And the judges that we serve in Collin County, there are 6 of them that hear child protection cases. And they refer to CASA as the eyes and the ears of their court.
So someone that's a volunteer for CASA gets paired with a child, and what does that relationship look like?
Right. So it can look like a variety of things, but it essentially, we use this very powerful court order that the judge gives to our agency, and then our agency takes screened and trained, masterclass trained volunteers and arms them with this very powerful court order that supersedes HIPAA, FERPA, all the protections, and has essentially a backstage pass, an all-access pass to this child's life. And the reason for that is these are children living in foster care, and we know what that means. It means that they weren't safe at home in their family, at least back then. And the state had to take control temporarily to figure out what ultimately can we do for this child to give them the best start possible in life? Well, that's a huge question. And it is up to many people on this child's team. CASA is a part of that. But ultimately, that big decision falls at the feet of the judges. And it's our judges who ask for help. We provide independent, neutral, fair, and impartial recommendations based on the facts that we gather using this really powerful court order. So in answer to your question about what does this relationship look like between a volunteer, and their child, this child could be 17 minutes old, born maybe exposed to narcotics. This child could be 17 years old and no longer safe in their household and in foster care. So we serve every single child in Collin County who is under the protection of the state temporarily. And we help our judges find that solution for this child to give them the best start possible.
So your volunteers are not actually fostering these kids, but they're another part of their support team.
Yes, exactly right. We are on the same footing as the parties in the lawsuit. So you think about it's the state who took control of these children's lives and took possession of these children when they were in desperate need and in bad shape at home. So there's the state, and they have a district attorney. Moms and dads are in this lawsuit, so they have attorneys. The child themselves has an attorney. And there's, of course, a caseworker who works for the state. And that would normally be it as far as this child's team, standing in front of this judge every few months, giving them the update, coming up with what are we going to do next? What are this child's options for the future? But back in 1979, a judge was sitting on the bench and had to preside over these cases, and he was losing sleep because he said he couldn't lay his head down at night feeling that he'd made a well-informed decision for children, and it bothered him so much. This is Judge David Sukup of Seattle, Washington. He stopped and formed the very first CASA program up in Washington with community volunteers. His idea was this is almost like a one-person jury member. This person has no relationship with this family. They've got no other agenda, no axe to grind, no other dog in the hunt, but they want to help. They want to help this child during a really treacherous time in their life. Being away from your family, even in protective custody, really hard on children, even when it was really rough at home. Still really hard on kids being away. And so they can go through a lot. And this judge knew that this one-person jury member would bring that neutrality, that fairness, that impartiality to this situation, providing the judge with facts that they gathered using this powerful court order. That's what our volunteers do. They use this incredible court order, making them guardians ad litem. It's a legal term. And with that court order, they insert themselves. This volunteer goes and inserts him or herself into this child's life, school, their foster home, maybe their daycare, their summer camp, their band practice, anywhere and everywhere that child goes, this CASA volunteer goes also and has access to this child everywhere. And it's designed to make the volunteer a subject matter expert on these kids. Nobody else standing in front of that judge has that level of knowledge on this child's life. And so when we say that the volunteer advocate is the eyes and ears of the court, I would come see for yourself. Any citizen can watch Child Protective Services cases in Collin County. Go. I'd encourage you to go. You will see live advocates up there changing the story for these children. Judges are very much influenced by what we have to recommend.
Wow. So these volunteers, that is a lot of time. It sounds like a lot of time, a lot of training that they need to go through, right? This isn't like I went and packed lunches this past weekend for a local nonprofit. This is not that, right? This is a long-term, heavy. Tell us more about if you wanted to become a CASA volunteer who's actually working with the kids. It sounds like a lot of training and a lot of time.
You're right. Most of our volunteers, you got to be at least 21 years old. And I teach the 40-hour master class on child welfare and how to serve this role in this county. Then we have a staffer who, after training and you get sworn in, a staffer called a volunteer coordinator is your wingman or your wingwoman at CASA. This is somebody who has your back. They are your coach. They're your cheerleader. They are your guide. You're texting with them. You're calling with them. And they're helping guide this volunteer through the process. This volunteers aren't going to know all the things about the child welfare system, but what they do bring is their time and their passion. Volunteers usually report between 10, 15 hours a month, spending in their case, doing all the things that we do. And we ask for a 18-month commitment. From the day that child gets into protective custody with the state, that is the day that our court order goes in force. And the judge And CASA cannot leave that child's side until permanency, their permanent goal, their ultimate, where are they going to end up? Who's going to be able to safely raise them into adulthood? Until that question gets answered, we are on the scene. So this is for the volunteer. You're exactly right, Jerry. This is not packing lunches or small little volunteer events. I love those too, and they have their place. But CASA is more like, CASA is, my favorite district attorney called us, the Navy SEALs of the volunteer world. This is a challenging volunteer role. And I can think maybe only disaster relief for the Red Cross might be more challenging. But there is incredible support, in-depth training, and an amazing opportunity to shape the future for a child in their hour of need.
Wow, that's incredible. So tell us ways that we can support the organization. Maybe, either if you want to be a volunteer, right, and you're able to give that kind of commitment, which I think is incredible, right? Be a Navy SEAL of the nonprofit world, or what are the other, how does somebody get to do one of those things? How do they volunteer?
Sure. Well, they reach out to our website, and walks you through the steps that it takes to apply and to possibly get trained. But it's not for everyone, and we know that. There's a highly specialized volunteer role. Even if it is for you, it might not be the right timing in your life. So I've been around CASA long enough to get people to call me up and say, hey, I talked to you 10 years ago, Natasha, and the time wasn't right then, but now I've got it. Now I want to step in. And I say, get in here. And so volunteering, that's our bread and butter. We are a 501c3, a nonprofit, and we are funded by Crime Victims Compensation and VOCA funds, and independent individual donors and corporate donors. And we have a few events a year, fundraisers. We've got a casino coming up on October 23rd where you can get up in the blackjack tables and have a good time, and it all goes to charity, a worthy cause. So yeah, being a nonprofit is important to the structure of this agency because we want to make sure that there is no conflict of interest. So nobody owns us, and nobody can influence what we're going to recommend in court. We let the facts dictate what we're going to recommend for this child.
That's incredible. So if they're outside of Texas and Collin County in particular, it sounds like is this a national organization? And is there a national website that they could check out to see some information for their area?
Yes, absolutely. There's 75 programs in Texas alone. So absolutely, we're in every single state and multiple programs per state. National CASA is in Seattle, Washington, but honestly, I would just get on a Google and just say CASA program near me. You'll be surprised how many are around and what you could do to help children get to where they need to go. Help the judge make a good decision for this child when this child really has nobody else speaking up for them.
Such incredible work that you guys are doing. And we are recording this as a part of North Texas Giving Day, which is a big fundraising day here across North Texas. So how can we support you during North Texas Giving Day?
Oh, man, we love North Texas Giving Day. We partner every year, and it's a big push for us. We love those challenge grants that come in, and we get it. We have a big party at our office on that day. It's fun. But you can give on North Texas Giving Day, but you could just go to CASA of Collin County. We definitely love the support of our local people and our local industries. This is an investment into our community and the children that'll someday be running the place.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.